Hello students. So in this video we are going to discuss about human circulatory system. Actually, what does it mean by human circulatory system and what is the function of it? Human circulatory system which helps to transport the materials. Then whatever the food materials which you are taking that has a various nutrients. Okay, these all will be entering into the cells for its function. So those all will be transported from one place to another place. Okay now. So the food which you are taking, from that these nutrients will be transported toward the cells for its function. Okay. So that is the reason this circulatory system plays a crucial role for the functioning of cells through the nutrients which you are taking through food. And it is also called as vascular system. Then why do we call it as a vascular system? Here the term vessel, if you check it out, a letter with V. So we need to remember in a simple way, V for vessel, V for vascular system. The circulatory system which is involving or which is playing a major role through the vessels. It's nothing but those are the vessels such as arteries, veins and capillaries. So these all will be plays a major role to transport the materials, which is nothing but circulating the materials. Hence it is called as circulatory system which involving through the vessels. Hence it is called as vascular system. Then as I have mentioned over there, V for vessel, V for vascular system. Am I clear? And especially the circulatory system, we have a majorly two aspects. One is open and one more is closed type of circulatory system. Then how do you differentiate this open and closed type of circulatory system? There is a small thing, blood which will be flows through the vessels. It's nothing but closed type of circulatory system. Means what happens? The vessel which helps to follow the or which helps to allow the blood in a closed manner which will be in the vessel. Hence it is called as closed type of circulatory system. Suppose blood vessel is absent, then at that time what happens? Simple, in the body the blood will be flows in a open manner. Simple. Then however the water flows on the floor, in the similar manner the blood will be flowing. Hence it is called as open type of circulatory system. I hope you have an idea. So this is a difference between open and closed type of circulatory system. Then how the heart is? Heart is muscular heart. Then what does it mean? Because the heart is made up of with muscles. Okay, now heart is made up of with what? Muscles. Hence it is called as muscular heart. Because always the heart which has a function, contraction and relaxation. Am I clear? So in that, especially if we check it out, the entire heart is made up of with what? Muscles. Hence it is called as what? Muscular heart. Okay. And closed type of circulatory system which will be included heart along with that blood vessels. Then as I have mentioned, which is a closed type of circulatory system. Then apart from that, obviously blood is present. Okay now. Right, next move on to the human heart. Then heart is. Then human heart originate from the mesoderm. So generally we have three primary germ layers. Okay, what are those? Ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. Then from where the heart is originated? Heart is originated from the mesoderm. Am I clear? Heart is originated from the mesoderm. Then place. What is the place of the heart? It is nothing but what? Mediastinum. Okay now, it is nothing but what? Mediastinum. Mediastinum is nothing but a place where between the lungs, heart is located, and that area is called as what? Mediastinum, mid region, slightly toward the left side. Then weight of the heart. So the weight of the heart on an average approximately 250 to 350 grams, and which is slightly vary in the male and female. If you check it out, in the male, it could be approximately 280 to 340 grams, and females 230 to 280. So we'll be taking an average in adult heart 250 to 350 grams. Am I clear? So generally what we are mentioning, a fist of individual, because then whoever, either children or adult, their fist size, the heart which will be placed over there. Am I clear? Then next one is protective layer. Protective layer. What is a protective layer? Protective layer is called as pericardium. The term peri, which means covering, okay, or outer. Peri means outer, cardium, heart. Okay now. So if you assume this is a heart and which is protected by the layer, that is called as pericardium. Peri means which will be covering as a outer, cardium represents heart. Cardiology, study of the heart. Cardiac represents heart. Cardiologist, heart specialist. So we need to sort out the terms like that. The major problem with the students, they are not aware in the terminology. So we need to sort out the term, then how it is and where it is linked up with the other concepts. Its meaning. Split the word and get the meaning. Then the content will be easy for you for the NEET preparation. Got it? And one more, this pericardium, which is a double layer membrane. Here we need to recall the layers of heart, lungs along with the brain also, because sometimes you may get a little confusion. Here 2 layers and lungs also 2 layers, plural, but meninges 3 layers in the brain. Am I clear? But here we are discussing about the pericardium, which is a double layer membrane, because 2 layers will be there. Between that a fluid is present, and that is called as what? Pericardial fluid. A fluid which is flows or which is present between the 2 layers of a heart. It is nothing but what? Pericardial fluid. Okay, then how the pericardium? Then if you check it out, the pericardium, which will be 2 layers, then as I have mentioned, and outer and inner. Then what is the outer one? Fibrous pericardium. Outer one is what? Fibrous pericardium, and inner one is serous pericardium. Then if you go with this flow chart, it will be easy along with the representation, because then what is the layer, where it is accommodated, and to which it is connecting. So these aspects will be important. Okay, then first one is what? Fibrous pericardium. Am I clear? And next one is what? Serous pericardium. Then outer one is what? Fibrous pericardium. So which is a outer one, then what I am representing here. And next one is what? Serous pericardium. So these serous pericardium, so which I am representing here, that is what? Parietal, and again will be having the 2 sublayers. Simple. The first one is outer fibrous pericardium, and inner one is serous pericardium. Again the serous pericardium, which will be having sublayers such as parietal and as well as a visceral. So this is a parietal layer. Parietal layer, and which is fused with the fibrous pericardium. This is fibrous pericardium, and here it is what? Parietal pericardium. So this is attaching or fusing with the fibrous pericardium. What is that? Parietal. And next one is what? Inner one is what? Visceral, and which is attaches to the surface of heart, where which is forming the epicardium. Simple. So first one is fibrous, and next one is parietal. Then after that, innermost layer is what? Visceral layer. Visceral, which means inner. Am I clear? Visceral is nothing but inner. So between these and where this fluid is present, what? Pericardial fluid. Then as I have mentioned, outer and inner. Okay. And apart from that, if you check it out, the layers will be considering epicardium, myocardium, and as well as endocardium. So finally this is what? Epicardium, and the middle one is what? Myocardium. Myo, the total heart is made up of with muscles, because whenever the heart is getting contraction and relaxation, and where the heart is involving the pumping of blood. So in this area, the myocardium which is present, and majority of the heart which composed of the muscles only. That we need to remember, those are cardiac muscles. What are those? Cardiac muscles. Okay. Then last one is endocardium, innermost layer, right? So this is a set of pericardium which will be having, these are the layers. Then outer, just once again I am repeating, outer one is what? Fibrous pericardium, and next one is inner one, serous pericardium. Serous pericardium again will be having two layers. One is parietal, which is fused with the fibrous. Then apart from that, next one is what? Visceral layer, which will be attached to the outer surface of the heart, and where will be forming the epicardium. So this area is called what? Epicardium. This is myocardium, where majority of the heart, it is composed of the cardiac muscles, and with the help of the cardiac muscles, which is going to be contract and relax. Got it? Then next one is what? Innermost layer, endocardium. Okay now. Next, so pericardial fluid. Then what is the source of the pericardial fluid? So pericardial fluid, which is secreted by a layer of pericardium, and especially its function to reduce the friction, because always the heart which goes on what? Functioning contraction and relaxation. Okay. And when we are moving or walking or jumping, then obviously the friction which is going to be reduced by the pericardial fluid approximately, which could be around 15 to 50 ml. That is the quantity of the pericardial fluid which is present between the parietal and visceral. Parietal and visceral, just as you have seen now the previous one. Here between this parietal and as well as visceral layers, which is composed of this pericardial fluid, and which is reduced as the friction. Okay now. Next, if you check it out, the wall of the heart, just as I told you, epicardium, myocardium, endocardium. So these are epicardium, which is a outer one. Okay now. Then myocardium, which is a middle one. Okay na? Right. So this is a epicardium, and the middle, the majority area which is filled with the cardiac muscles, that is nothing but what? Myocardium. The innermost layer of the heart which is covered with the endocardium. So this total area we are mentioning, which is what? Wall of the heart. Then how those are, we'll check it out. And this area is called as what? Pericardial cavity. Okay na? In that, this pericardial fluid is placed. Okay na? Right. Then how those are layers? First one is epicardium, and the middle one is myocardium, inner one is endocardium. So outer one epicardium, then how it is? It is a visceral layer of serous pericardium. Got it? So this is a visceral layer. Visceral means already which is present inside. But what? Which is a visceral layer of serous pericardium. Then how it is? Which is made up of with a simple squamous epithelium. Okay, it is made up of with what? Simple squamous epithelium, and which has a fibroelastic tissue, somewhat stretchability, because always which has to contract and relaxation, and that is due to the composition of this simple squamous along with this fibroelastic tissue. Then second one, myocardium. Myo, the term as I have mentioned, myo means muscles. The majority of that, approximately 90 to 95% of the entire heart is made up of with cardiac muscle. And here the one more important, then how it is in a different chambers of the heart, such as thick in ventricles and thin in auricles. Myocardium position will be somewhat vary, the presence in a auricles thin than the ventricles. Okay, next move on to endocardium, which is a inner layer. Okay, Then obviously what happens? Innermost layer which will be covering the entire chambers of the heart, and where which will be continuous is with the large vessels associated with the heart. Large vessels such as what? Aorta, superior vena cava, inferior vena cava. These all the vessels which will be connected or associated with the endocardium, which is innermost layer. And here also somewhat vary, opposite. Thick in atria, thin in ventricles. That endocardium thicker in the atria than thin in ventricles. So this is the difference of myocardium and as well as endocardium presents its thickness. So that is important for the examination point of view. I hope it's clear. The wall of the heart which composed of 3 layers. Am I clear? And previously we discussed about the pericardium. So here majority of the students they will get a little confusion. So you need to go with that wall of the heart which composed of which layers, and the same manner then how the pericardium, what are the sub layers from outer to inner and inner to outer. So this is important. Okay. Next, move on to the chambers. So this is a most important chambers of the heart. Then before that, whenever we are going to the study of heart, we need to sort out first of all chambers, right? Septums, apertures, then valves. So these all the aspects you should have an idea before we study the heart in detail manner. Okay now, chambers, how many are there? What is the position? Then how those are made up of? Then septum. Septum is a dividing structure. Septum is a dividing structure. Aperture is an opening. Then valve is a preventive structure. So here also somewhat confusion. Instead of the aperture or septum or valve, valve is a preventive structure. The valve which never allows back. Then aperture which is an opening. Then septum, it is a partition, the dividing structure. Then obviously chamber where the blood is accommodated. Got it? Right. Just if you have a glance, this is a sketch of the heart, then how it is. Then what are the chamber? Just I'll give a little brief here, then we'll come back. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the 4 chambers. Okay, right? These all the 4 chambers never connected. Means they are getting separated with the septum. So septum is a dividing structure. Okay. Then the blood will be entering from the upper chambers to lower chambers. What are the upper chambers? Upper chambers are atria and lower chambers are what? Ventricles. Upper chambers are atria, lower chambers are ventricles. So these upper chambers will receive the blood from there allowed into the ventricles through the aperture. So then as I have mentioned, aperture is the opening. Okay now. Then septum is a dividing structure. Got it? Next, we'll move on to the one by one. Then first of all, as I have mentioned, chambers. Upper chambers are what? Atria. Lower chambers are ventricles. Here also a little confusion. Either atria and the auricles. What is the difference over there? Okay. Then obviously our atria are the upper chambers and those are left atrium and right atrium. Here, while you are writing, which one is the left side, which one is the right side. So this is a left atrium, this is a right atrium. So this is my left side, hence I am writing here left atrium, then right atrium. Left ventricle, right ventricle. Here the small representations helps to sort out the heart in a step-by-step manner. Okay. So ventricles. Ventricles are lower chambers and those are left along with that right. Then as I have mentioned over there, the difference between auricles and atria. Atria is a main chamber which receives the blood. Atria is a main chamber receiving the blood. Then what about the auricles, which are small sac or ear-like structure which covers the atria? Okay, now then what is its function? Auricles function which helps to increase the capacity of the chamber. Once the blood is entering from the different vessels, obviously the vessels which helps to allow the blood into the heart, and once the blood is entering, the capacity has to be increased or adjusted by the auricles. Okay, then how those are? Is it clear? So this is a auricle and here it is a atrium. Left auricle, left atrium. So there is a small difference. But what we are mentioning, atrium is a chamber which has a small ear sac-like structure which helps to adjust the capacity. That is what? Auricle. Okay, now. So here, in this, if we observe, this is a right atrium and here it is a left atrium. So this left atrium, as I have mentioned the left side because this is my left side as I told you, and here it is a right atrium. The simple, from where the heart is receiving the blood, heart receiving the blood through the vena cavas, which are the largest vessels. Okay, right? Next, the difference between the right atrium and left atrium. So that's the reason I have written left atrium this side and here it is a right atrium. So right atrium receiving deoxygenated blood from superior vena cava and as well as inferior vena cava. Superior upper, inferior lower. So generally we are telling superior, he is superior officer than me, means higher, upper level. So here also this heart which is receiving the blood, that to what kind of blood? Deoxygenated blood. Why? Because all the arteries carries oxygenated blood, all the veins carries deoxygenated blood. Again exception will be there, we will discuss in detail. Exception here, exception pulmonary artery, here exception pulmonary vein, that's the difference. Okay, now so left atrium receiving oxygenated blood and that to what? From the lungs through the pulmonary vein. Here also the major aspect, this pulmonary vein which is carrying oxygenated blood, pulmonary artery carries deoxygenated, pulmonary vein carries oxygenated. So that's the difference. Okay, now here I have written now all the arteries carries oxygenated blood except the pulmonary artery. All the veins carrying deoxygenated blood except the pulmonary vein. In this area you may get little confusion, so that better to sort out and write a step by step manner. Okay, then pulmonary vein, immediately you need to recall. Okay, generally vein carrying deoxygenated blood, exception is pulmonary vein. Then what kind of blood? Oxygenated blood. How many those are? 4. Those are 4 in number. Pulmonary again, which will be representing lungs, because just rough one I am drawing. Okay, now so superior and this is a superior, inferior. These two are drained into the right atrium. From there to right ventricle. From there to pulmonary artery. So now the pulmonary artery arises from the right ventricle, which will be carrying what? Deoxygenated blood towards the lungs. From there to pulmonary vein. So pulmonary vein carrying oxygenated blood. How many those are? 4 in number. So this is about a little difference between the right atrium and the right? Sorry, right atrium and left atrium. Okay now. So upper chambers are what? Upper chambers are atria, lower chambers are ventricles. Okay. So if you sort out, so this is information, and septum. Septum is a dividing structure. Those are between the atria, left atrium, right atrium. So this is a septum. What? Interatrial. Here also little confusion. Inter, in between, intra, inside. That's the difference. Inter, in between, intra, inside. So in between the atria is called as interatrial septum. Between the ventricles, interventricular septum. Okay. And next one is between the atria and ventricles, interatrioventricular septum. These all the septums which helps to divide the particular chambers. Okay now. Next one is apertures, right? So aperture is nothing but what? Opening. Okay now. So this opening allows the blood from the upper chambers to lower chambers. What is the upper chambers? Here upper chambers are atria. Then always we need to write this is a left atrium, this is a right atrium, and here this is a left ventricle, here it is a right ventricle. From here to here, from the atria to ventricles, the blood has to enter through the opening is called as aperture. So one is between the right atrium and right ventricle, which one is present? Right atrioventricular aperture. And similarly, between the left atrium and left ventricle, what is present? Left atrioventricular aperture. Here also, if you observe, this is the left side and this is the right side. The position is very, very important while describing the heart. Okay now. Next, to move on to the most important thing, blood vessels. Because as I told you, we need to sort out the various aspects which connecting to the heart. Chambers, septums, apertures. The next to move on to the blood vessels. Then what are those? Here it is arteries, veins and capillaries. These three are the major vessels. Then first of all, arteries. Here it is. Arteries are helps to supply oxygenated blood. Arteries are helps to supply the oxygenated blood except pulmonary artery. Simple, except the pulmonary artery. All the arteries are carries oxygenated blood except the pulmonary artery which is carrying deoxygenated blood. Why? Because just as I have shown to you now, from the right ventricle, okay now, from the right ventricle, this pulmonary artery arises. This is what? Right ventricle. This is a left ventricle. Then every time we need to recall which one is left side and which one is right side, and from where which one is arising to where. Am I clear? Then kind of blood. So these are the aspects we will be repeating. We need to recall. So pulmonary artery. So this is a pulmonary artery arising toward the lungs. Hence we are coming saying what here? Pulmonary. Pulmonary represents lungs. So that's what pulmonary artery carrying deoxygenated blood. Okay now. And out of that, one more is largest artery, aorta. So this aorta arises from the left ventricle. Aorta is a largest artery, so which arises from the left ventricle. Then next move on to the veins. Veins. Here all the veins are carrying deoxygenated blood. Again exception. What is exception here? Pulmonary vein. So that pulmonary vein which will be carrying oxygenated blood. So here also, what is the largest vein? Vena cava. Am I clear? Vena cava also called as what? Caval veins, also called as what? Caval veins. So these caval veins are two are there. One is superior, just as I told you now, upper one is superior, lower one is what? Inferior. So superior vena cava, which collects the deoxygenated blood. Here also we need to remember, veins are carrying deoxygenated blood. Superior vena cava, which is one of the largest one, and will be collecting the deoxygenated blood from head and neck region, upper body parts. Then drain into where? Right atrium. Again drain into right atrium. And inferior, lower one. Okay. Inferior is lower one, which is also collecting deoxygenated blood, that drain into the right atrium. Means superior and inferior, these two are drain into the right atrium only. Okay now. So here this is a superior vena cava, here it is a inferior vena cava. These two are drain into where? Right atrium. Then what is the function of it? Collecting deoxygenated blood. Here superior collecting upper body parts, inferior one collecting lower body parts. Got it? Okay na? Next, capillaries. Then how does a capillary forms? Capillary, which is the joining network of arterioles and venules. Here suppose aorta, then the same manner vena cava. Okay na? So from the vena cava, vein, right? From the veins again branches network is venules. Okay, and then similarly aorta, artery, then branches. So the network of arterioles and venules together is called as what? Capillaries. Am I clear? These are the capillaries which forms by the joining, right? So this is information about what? Blood vessels. Okay na? Next, to move on to the different kinds of valves which associate with the various vessels. And first one is Eustachian valve. Okay na? It is also called as the valve of inferior vena cava. Inferior vena cava function is what? Collecting deoxygenated blood, drain into the right atrium where it is present. Next one is what? Location. Okay, so it's located the junction of inferior vena cava and the right atrium. Especially the inferior vena cava drain into the right atrium where it is present at the junction of inferior vena cava, the right atrium, and that is a valve is known as what? Eustachian valve. And one more is Sebaceous valve. Okay, so this Sebaceous valve at the opening of coronary sinus. Here sinus, and one more word we have a sulcus. So we'll get back. So first one, coronary sinus, which is a vessel, formed by 4 coronary veins. And apart from that, we need to discuss about what? Coronary artery, then coronary vein. So these are the coronary vessels which are associated with the wall of the heart or towards the heart. Coronary artery supplies oxygenated blood to the walls of the heart or to the heart. Then coronary vein collect the deoxygenated blood from the heart, because heart also is an organ which always goes on function. Got it? And for that oxygen is required. So that oxygen is supplied by the coronary artery. Then after that deoxygenated blood also formed. So that will be collected by the coronary vein. So such coronary veins are 4. Coronary veins are 4. Together formed coronary sinus. Okay now, right? See, this is a eustachian valve and here it is a sebaceous valve as we discussed. Am I clear? So first one is what? Eustachian valve. Okay now. So what is the position of eustachian valve here? At the opening of inferior vena cava. So here if we check it out, this is a inferior vena cava where it is opening and we will be finding the eustachian valve. And one more is what? Sebaceous valve. So sebaceous valve is present at the opening of coronary sinus. Okay, so then coronary sinus is formed by what? 4 coronary veins. Okay now, so this is what? Coronary sinus, which is the largest vessel and is formed by 4 different coronary veins. Okay now, so this is about what? Coronary sinus and how it is formed, right? And one more is coronary sulcus. Okay, then as I told you the differences now, if you check it out, coronary sinus and coronary sulcus. So here coronary sulcus, which is nothing but arterioventricular groove. Groove is nothing but a small what do you call elevation or the depression which will be appearance. So that helps to separate the upper chambers to the lower chambers. Okay now, upper chambers to the lower chambers, it is called as what? Coronary sulcus. Right? So which will be separating the upper chambers to lower chambers. So this is about up to upper chambers. What are those? Atria and the valves which are associated with the atria. So here 2 are there. What we discussed? Eustachian valve and as well as a sebaceous valve. Okay, now these 2 are present in the right atrium only. Okay, right? And as we discussed what? Chambers, septums, valves, apertures, then how the atria and as well as how the ventricles, and along with that what? Various vessels associated with the chamber. So in the next class we are going to discuss apart from the arteries, along with that veins and capillaries, other parts which are associated with the heart. Okay, I hope it's clear till now. Thank you.